Hey everyone, so this is my vlog about day 4 of NaNoWriMo. Day 4 of NaNoWriMo was somewhat productive. I wrote 2,186 words and I did finish the Cinderella hoedown. Kind of. Basically, I finished the sex scene and all the key parts of the plot are finished. There's some editing that of course has to be done. But last night I was thinking about the book and decided that there wasn't enough interior monologue on the parts of the guys. It's definitely a Western romance, it's definitely a cowboy romance, but there were elements of shifter romance that were missing. So I tend to have each of the heroes shift talk to him a little bit, and that did not show up in the Cinderella hoedown. But of course, because I haven't sent this to my editor yet, I haven't sent this to the art team yet, it can still be fixed. Or I guess not fixed, so much has changed. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm adding a chapter where the heroes are talked to by their shifts. I am going to look at changing some minor details to make the heroes just more shiftery, and I'm gonna try and start on Mountain Bear Buns, which I've been saying I was planning on doing for quite a while now. So yeah, I did not do a lot of stuff on day 5 of NaNoWriMo, which is today, but there's still, my boyfriend keeps on saying, well, there's a lot of day left, and he was saying that at 3 p.m., he was saying that at 5 p.m., and he's saying that at, I think it's around 8 p.m. now, as I'm filming this. But number one, I want to wake up early tomorrow, and get into the office early. I technically have started working from home. I can work from wherever I want to work, so like given the nature of my job. So I had been renting out an office space, but because we have a really nice apartment now, after a lot of thinking, I decided I was going to start working at home. So I still have the office rental through the midpoint of the month, but I'd been staying home for the first few days in NaNoWriMo to see how that worked out. And luckily, I mean, I think my writing, I was productive, and I was more productive than I'd been all summer. What I have to do tomorrow is I have some errands to do in town. I have to get my eyebrows done, obviously. I didn't do my makeup today, as many of you may have noticed, because I'm getting my eyebrows done tomorrow, and I don't want it to be all gross for the eyebrow lady. And I'm really going to be doing a lot of like introspective analysis regarding productivity next week. So I have a few things, I guess, to share about productivity and the writing process with all y'all. First of all is I try to do something called the Pomodoro method. This involves writing for 25-minute sprints and then taking a break for 5 minutes before starting up again and writing for 25 minutes. I used to be really good at this. I haven't done this in a long time, and I tend to do this in like with other authors in groups or chat rooms or whatever. So what I've been using for that is this timer by a brand called CDN, and the reason I use this timer is because it has a really cool set of functions, namely that it can beep or vibrate. So when you're working in a shared office environment where a beeping device might be annoying for your coworkers, having something that can vibrate in your pocket is really, really nice. And this was the only vibrating alarm that they had on Amazon Prime Now at the time, which is why I ordered that one. And it's been a great alarm, but I just haven't been using it as much, and I lose it a lot because it's so small. But what's really nice is it does have a clip on the back, so you could clip it like to the top of your desk if you have a desk that can fit that. Or you could, I guess in theory, maybe clip it to your monitor if you wanted. The other thing that's been really helpful has been writing stuff down, like using a notebook. So I'm going to continue to do that. But both those things are going to have like a sort of more high-tech upgrade coming this week. First of all, I'm going to be getting a special timer, and the timer is basically for people doing Pomodoro. It's preset to 25 and 5 minutes, and all you have to do is flip a little cube on its side, and it automatically starts an alarm for 25 minutes or for 5 minutes. I guess I should say timer, not alarm, and that's going to be really helpful, I think. I did not end up going with the classic tomato Pomodoro timer because I didn't want something super, super loud, and I wanted something that was automatically going to be set to 25 minutes that didn't involve a lot of like fidgeting and like clicking around. And I know it doesn't take that much time to set a timer, but anything to streamline the process, right? And so in terms of notes and notebooks, I had gone through over 100 pages of notes in the last 2 weeks, and of course notebooks aren't that expensive, but it's a kind of a waste of paper to have all these notes written when I'm probably going to end up scanning these books into Dropbox eventually. And it's also kind of, I mean, what do you, like, where do you store notebooks, right? Like, anyone who's been to college knows that you end the semester with maybe dozens of notebooks filled, depending on how you take notes. And what do you do with those paper notebooks? If you have electronic files, obviously you can just, like, save them to Dropbox or, like, Google Drive, and you never have to look at them again, and that's fine, but they're still there. It's not like you threw away your hard work. But when you have written notes, it's a lot more difficult. So what I've decided to do is finally upgrade and get an Everlast notebook. So boom. So an Everlast notebook looks like a regular notebook, but the way it works is each page is a smart page in a way. You write on it and you scan it using your phone, using a special app, and it, depending on little markers that you mark at the bottom of the page, little icons, it'll send a document to Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever you have set up using their app. It's really, really cool. And I can send it to specific folders as well. And the really, really cool thing is, even though the notebook is only 32 pages, you can actually wipe the pages off with water. So you can use that notebook, I think it's supposed to be like 1,000 or 2,000 times. So that's at least 32,000 pages of notes that you can get out of the notebook. But of course, you actually have to use the notebook for that to work, right? You also have to use a very special brand of pens with it. You have to use the, is it Intel? I don't know. It's not, how could it be Intel? No. Pilot brand Frixion pens. And so those pens, they have highlighters, they have regular pens, they have gel pens, whatever. And you just, as long as you use those pens, you're good. And of course, like, it's not a magic notebook. So if you poke a hole in it, like, you ruined a page, congratulations. But what I do appreciate is that it's very easy to digitize, it's reusable. I only would have to have one notebook instead of having like 30 notebooks. And I also like the fact that there is a system that automatically will put things in the right bins online. So what I do is I use Dropbox for everything. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is having one icon marked that means that things are academic, and that those things would go to an academic folder. One for like romance, which one icon marked for romance. So if I mark that icon, those notes about romance get put in the romance folder. One for to-do lists, so on and so forth. So I think it's gonna be really cool. I haven't ever done anything like this before. I've never really stuck to smart notes before. I know there's a ton of systems, so I'm hoping the system works out for me. If it doesn't, whatever, at least I'll have tried it. And what else? Sorry about this, give me a second. So I quit vaping last year. I quit vaping in May, I think, of 2016, and I just started again as of last night. And I know I'm not supposed to be doing it, but NaNoWriMo has been really stressful, and it's something to take the edge off. So I ended up getting a Juul, and it's basically, it's a lot like a blue cigarette, like like a cig-alike, and that it's very small. I can pop it in my purse, and it's got these like reusable cartridges, and I got creme brulee and berry medley. And they're really strong, and I say that, and I don't know if they're like really strong. You can still see smoke coming out of my mouth. I don't know if they're really strong because, or the, like, I don't know if they're actually stronger than the competition, or if they're strong, they seem strong because I haven't smoked in a long time. So whatever, at least I'm not using real cigarettes, right? Yikes. I guess the other thing I've been kind of obsessed with lately is David's tea. They have really nice lip balms that taste like their teas, and this one is based on their tea called Forever Nuts, which is a tea I've actually never tried before. I got into David's tea recently because my boyfriend and I went on a date to Assembly Row, which is a really nice area of Boston that it is now, they fixed it up. And there's like a giant movie theater there. There are a bunch of restaurants, including a really good southern restaurant called Sokin. I highly recommend it if you're ever in town. And they also have a David's tea. And the David's tea still had Halloween stuff, so, like, and this was, like, late October. So I got, what did I get? I got a reusable, like, coffee mug kind of deal. I got a reusable regular mug, their Nordic mug. And those both have ghost designs on it, which I really like, because those are something it's a Halloween thing I can use all year, and it's a thing that I didn't already own, so I didn't feel like it was a waste for me to buy them. I also got a sampler of their, their Halloween teas, and I liked that, but my favorite tea of theirs so far has been Bear Trap, which is a berry medley, and it's decaf, which is nice because I try to control my caffeine input by like measuring how many like cans of soda or how many caffeine pills I've taken in a day. And it's a lot harder, I think, to do that with tea, because you can guesstimate with tea, but you know how much caffeine is in a can of Coke, or you know how much caffeine is in a can of Mountain Dew, and you know how much is in a caffeine pill, but how much caffeine is really in a cup of tea? Well, it really varies, and it depends on a lot of things, not only like the variety of tea, but if you're like me and you like blended teas, which have things like apple pieces or rose hips or whatever in them, you're not going to get you never drink the same cup of tea. So what ends up happening is you end up having more caffeine on some days and less caffeine on other days, and that's not really a variable I like to play with. So I'm looking forward to trying more of their teas, a lot more of their decaf teas, and I know it's the holidays, so there's a lot of holiday teas coming out across different brands. So I'm definitely looking to try the David's Tea holiday selection, and who else is there? I think Teavana is a brand. They're a brand, right? So I think there's Starbucks, right? So I'm gonna try Teavana's Christmas or like holiday blends. So yeah, I'm not like a huge holiday person or a Christmas person. I guess we default into Christmas in this household, but not in this household. For just me and my boyfriend, we are, I guess, kinda into Christmas. Like look, I won't turn away a candy cane. I'll put it that way. Anyway, I guess tonight's vlog might actually look a little bit better because the setup is I'm still outside. I don't have makeup on, so that's not the camera's fault. I do have my external lens, which is an Aki lens, which is $35 or something like that on Amazon. I have I think it's called Quia ring light that clips onto the phone, and I'm using that because I think last night's video kind of made me look creepy with the light coming up from behind me. Not behind me, from like below my face, and I'm using a selfie stick as a tripod because I didn't really want to set up a tripod, but I've looked back at my footage and it looks a little shaky, so I think in the future I'm going to try and set up a tripod. I don't know. What else? And I'm finally using the back cameras today. My boyfriend helped me figure out if the camera was facing, like, if you're using the back camera to shoot yourself, right, you can't see if you're really in the shot. So my boyfriend had to help me set this up. He's inside, he's playing video games. And yeah, I guess, so a word count of 2,186 isn't really good for an author. It's the lowest word count that I've written during NaNoWriMo, and I know that day 5 is actually probably going to be worse. But at least I wrote something, and I know I'm technically ahead of NaNoWriMo's schedule because I'm at something like 30,000 something words. It might be like 32,000. But I was still hoping to do a lot better. I know a lot of people are hitting 10,000 words a day pretty regularly, and I guess by a lot of people, I mean other people in the author community. And it's really hard not to compare myself to other people. I know I'm supposed to be just racing against myself, but it's not a case of jealousy. What it is a case of me being concerned that I'm not optimizing my output the other way other people are doing it. Because I talk to other people about like writing tips and how to write fast and how to write well, and I'll have these days where I can write 20,000 words, and people are like, oh my gosh, how'd you write 20,000 words? And then I'll have days where I write like 26 words, or I write like 100 words, or I write like 2,000 words, and it's really irritating. And if anything, the days where I write nothing, I take that, I'll like look at that and be like, oh, I took a break. But the days where I only write 2,000 words, I'm like, oh. Because it means that I was able to write, I just wasn't able to do it well enough. And I know I'm probably a little hard on myself, but like my back catalog is really small given how long I've been in the game for. And I guess I'm kind of tired of doing this thing where I write a bunch of books every year, like during a few months, and just, sell a ton of books during that time, but then don't really write anything for the rest of the year. And it's been really hard for me to transition from the student schedule to the adult schedule. And so what I'm hoping is that in the spring or summer, when I get a private home office, that I will have a more regular schedule, and I'll finally get to the point where I am able to write and release a book every single week again. But like consistently, like forever. And I frankly would rather release 2 books every month consistently for a year than to write like 26 books in a row and then not do anything for half a year. I'd rather be consistently doing something, because getting back on the wagon is really hard. So in terms of the home office situation, basically we have a really nice apartment right now. So what that means is like the amenities I have at the space I'm at that I rent, they're all really nice, but I basically have all that at my house, plus I don't have to commute, and I really hate commuting. Like I do. And it's a lot more convenient for me to just like roll out of bed and start writing than to roll out of bed, shower, look good and presentable, which I am not today, obviously, and, you know, go into town, go to an office building, and then get to work, right? Because even if I wake up at like 8, I'm kind of slow getting ready, so I end up getting to the office at like 1 p.m. And I end up, in reality, I usually wake up at like 11:30, and I get in by like 3 p.m. And then I'm there for like maybe 5 or 6 hours, which, I mean, it might seem like a lot, but, you know, how much of that time am I really spending writing? So, the issue is really with the fact that I don't think that writing outside of the home is a solution for me anymore. Like, it doesn't really make sense when I have a really, really nice place. So we have a roommate. We have a bunch of roommates. We have 2. And one of the roommates is actually moving out either in the spring or the summer, I think. He might end up moving out in the fall when the lease is up. I don't know. But whenever he moves out, I'm going to take his room, and then I'm going to use that as my office. So I'm really excited for that. I have a Pinterest board that is focused on, like, what is it? Like, just, like, you know, like, wish lists for, like, ideal dream offices, but then also there's, like, a Pinterest board that I have for, like, realistically what I'm gonna get, right? Like, I could have, like, a $6,000, like, Eames chair or Herman Miller chair on the dream list, but in reality, I'm gonna stick with my IKEA chair. Yeah. What else? I'm just trying to get better at, like, having a schedule, and I guess the hardest part about being self-employed in general, and I'm sure this is true across the board, is maintaining a schedule and maintaining output. Especially, and I think it's especially difficult when you are the only person you're really working with, right? And what I mean is this: is like, my fans are awesome. I have a lot of great author friends. I have a great editor. I have actually great editors, plural. But at the end of the day, writing is something you do alone in a room. And I think it was Gwen Hayes who said this in her book, Write Naked, which I highly recommend. But you have to be comfortable you have to be comfortable writing alone, right? But I don't think it's even just about comfort. You also need to be, you need to be productive on your own. It's not even just about comfort. Like, I'm pretty much a homebody, and I like interacting with fans online and stuff like that, but I'm not a super social person. Like, I don't go to parties very often. I don't go to nightclubs. I am not the kind of person who I think is going to go to a cafe during NaNoWriMo to talk to people and meet people. However, that doesn't mean that I'm the most productive I am alone. Like, when I think back to college and stuff like that, I think I was probably more productive in group projects than I was on solo projects, because other people had grades that would also suffer if I didn't do my part, right? So I made sure that every group project I did was a slam dunk, right? But when you're the only person that you have to fight for, it's a lot more difficult, right? I don't know. So yeah, so I'm probably going to finish my Diet Mountain Dew. I'm gonna have a smoke, sorry mom, and then I'm going to go back in. I'm gonna try and finish up these last little bits of Cinderella Hoedown. It's really only 2,000 words, and it's gonna be between 2,000 and 3,000 words, I'm guessing. It might be less, it doesn't need to be more. And it's just to really drive home the fact that these cowboy heroes are more than just cowboys, they're shifters, and they have these primal urges driving them. And then I really do want to finish Mountain Bear Buns before I get started on the Rapunzel Rodeo. If you are on the ARC team, check the ARC group for the surprise that was posted yesterday for Vlog 3. Vlog 3, for some reason, I had technical difficulties, and it literally took 5 hours to upload a 15-minute video to YouTube, even though I have good internet, so I don't know what was going on. So yeah, I would definitely check out the ARC group, see what I posted, and let me know your comments on that image. Otherwise, if you are not, I guess even if you are in the ARC group, please give this video a like, please subscribe to this channel, and please leave a comment and tell me, what do you want to see covered in future videos? Because I'm still new to this, and I am definitely looking to please my fans. All right, well, I guess that's it. Good night.